Hey guys, it's Jen Schow here, ready to show you a hybrid process video using the Ali Edwards Home Story Kit. Now I'm starting here with all of these houses that are part of the, I think they're the chipboard or maybe part of the embellishment bundle that's in the digital story kit. And I'm also using the physical story kit as well. But for the digital part of this, I'm taking all of these little houses and I'm going to shrink them down and make them into a patterned background. So there are 7 or 8 different little houses here, and the colors aren't quite what I want because I'm doing this layout about Legos, and so I need a little bit more primary colors. And so what I'm going to do is, after I shrink all of these down, I'm going to change the colors to match my photos. And that's one thing I really love about digital, is being able to customize it to whatever you need. So here I have my last little house, and I zoomed in a little bit for you here, and I'm going to change the colors now. So I need some red and I need some like more true blues. And so I'm just going through my color palette, looking at my photos while I do this to just kind of try to figure out what colors I want to change. And so I know I want a yellow, but I think I want more of a bright yellow than the one that's on that house. And so I'm going to leave some of them gray. I'm going to add some blue, some yellow, and I will leave that pink house pink, but I'm going to change the tone of it a little bit. So that's all I'm doing here, is going through and finding colors that I think will work. And you'll see here in a minute how well it matches my photos. And again, this is one of the things I love about digital, is being able to change the color. And what I'm actually going to do with this when I'm done is print it out on vellum, and it's going to look really cool. You'll see that here in a little bit. So once I have all of my colors changed, I am going to put this all over the background. So what you can do is select all of the shapes at once, and then if you hold down the Option key on your keyboard, you can drag off a copy of it. So you just hold down Option and you can drag down another copy like I just did there. So what I'm going to do now is nestle these all together. And so I'm just making sure that when I drag off the copy, that I have it lined up at about the same place on each side. So you can see that the light blue house is under the dark gray house, and I'm just using that as a guide for me to know where to drag each one. And I'm actually not going to fill the entire page up because I know that I'm just going to use a portion of it. And at this point I'm thinking I'll put a portion of it behind my photos, kind of as a layering piece. That isn't what I end up doing, but for now. So then I'm just going to print it. And when I go to my print settings, I like to do instead of like a photo glossy paper, I just choose photo matte, even though it's not photo paper. And then I make sure I have a borderless print so that it will print all the way to the edges. So here you can see it printed out. And I'm going to put it on this striped background paper. This is just a really simple pattern from Felicity Jane. And it's going to give me a little bit of interest for my background, but not so much that it kind of detracts. The photos are pretty busy because it's got a ton of color and Lego in there, and so I don't want to take away from that. I'm mounting each photo on a piece of white cardstock just to help them stand out a little bit. And at this point, again, I'm thinking I'm going to put these photos on top of that house paper that I printed, and I wanted them to be able to stand out from that paper. So now here I'm just going to kind of play around with them, the arrangement. And I know I want to use this house from the physical story kit and the word home. And so I'm trying to figure out how this can work and what I'm going to do. And I'm trying to make it so that the word home doesn't cut off my daughter's face, which is on the very left-hand side of that top photo. And so I'm just going to play around a little bit, and I'm going to see if I want to use any of these chipboard pieces. I really like these triangles, and I do end up using those on those 2 photos. And I'm going to use some of these little banners as well. Now, I don't know exactly where I'm going to put the banners at this point, but I'm just playing around with it and seeing what might work. And I'm just going to put some on wax paper so that I can figure it out later, because I have kind of the base of what I want sitting here on my layout already. And so once I get the base down, then I can figure out what I'm going to do with everything. At this point, I'm thinking like maybe I just need to tuck it under that photo in that space between the top photo and the bottom photo, but I'm not sure. So again, I'll just play around for a second and then I'm just going to move them off to the side while I think about it. So here I'm looking through my Ali Edwards stickers. I'm looking for some letter stickers actually, because what I'm thinking at this point is that I want to do the word Lego for my subtitle. It's not really a subtitle. It's going to say Lego Home. And I like that title because, oh, I'll tell you in a second. I got some wood veneer hearts and decided to color them yellow, and I have had this Martha Stewart flocking powder forever, and it kind of makes the hearts like velvety, and so all I did was put some double-sided adhesive tape on there and then kind of dip the flocking powder, like dip it in the flocking powder, and it makes it have that velvety texture, and I think it's really cool. I don't know who sells flocking powder anymore, but I'm going to search online and see if I can link to it below. I always link to all available products in the video description. So here I am just kind of dabbing my last little heart in there. So I've got now 3 yellow hearts, and I thought that would be a nice pop of color. There is yellow in the photos, and at this point I'm wondering like if I should make my house into, change it to a color, and then I put this vellum piece, I put it down and put my photos on top of it, and it was way too busy. So what I decided to do instead is to put a strip of it at the top and at the bottom of the layout. I'm sorry, the bottom of the layout's a little bit cut off, but you'll see it here in a minute. So now I'm going to play around again with the placement and see how I want this to go. I know I want the house on top of the word home, so I need to move everything down a little bit, and things get a little bit more squished. And right now the H is over my daughter's face, but I'll end up moving that. So I'm thinking that the hearts will be a nice way to create a triangle around the layout, and I want to put one of them on top of the house. I'm thinking about like if I want to make the house a color or if I'm going to emboss it or what. And at this point I'm thinking I want to put the word Lego across the top, kind of in the roof area. It's not looking right, so I decide to kind of hand write it and see if I want to cut that out. That's something I do a lot, and it kind of looks like a letter or a word sticker when you do that, but it wasn't right either because Allie's handwriting and my handwriting don't really go together. I needed more of a simple font. So I don't know what to do about that, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and emboss that wood veneer house with some white embossing powder. And so I just dipped it in some Versamark ink, which is a sticky ink that holds onto the powder. And then I'm going to heat emboss this with my heat gun there. And you can see it just melts and gets smooth. I'm actually going to do 2 coats of embossing powder because this is such a large surface area, and the wood is a little bit porous. It looks fine when you do it once, but when you do it twice, it really fills in all of the little spaces that you don't quite get when the first time around. So now I'm going to work on my layout again. Oh, actually, maybe this is where I decide. Nope, it's not. Okay, I'm sorry again that the bottom's cut off, but I decide to attach the house vellum with some staples on either side, and that's a great way to attach vellum or acetate or anything like that so that you don't have to worry about glue showing through. So here's my house that I have embossed twice, and I'm just centering it on the layout because that's where I want it to go, and I really like the way that that yellow flocked heart looks on top of it. There's lots of different textures going on here with the vellum, the regular paper, the flocked hearts, the embossed house, and the chipboard shapes, and the acrylic word. So I actually really love that. So those little yellow spots you see on my background paper are just a little bit of the flocking powder that didn't stick to the heart, and you can easily brush it away. It's just like a little powder. So I'm not worried about that. And I'm putting my heart on top of my house, and now I am going to put the word home underneath it. At this point is where I realized that I had my daughter's head covered up, and so I need to move that photo over a little bit. And what I'm trying to do here is whenever I create a layout that has kind of a central design like this, if I put things not completely centered on the page, I want to make sure that there's an even amount of distance between like the rightmost object and the right edge of the paper and the leftmost object and the left side of the paper. So in this case, the left that second photo that I'm stapling the triangle onto, that's going to be the leftmost part of the layout. And so I want to make sure that the stuff on the right goes out at least that far, so there's about that same amount of distance between it and the edge. And it's going to be my journaling, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. So I glued down the word home with my Scotch quick dry adhesive, and now I am looking for some letters to spell out Lego in the door of the house. And I thought that would be a fun way to do that. So I'm going to search a bunch of letter stickers. There's not quite the right size. I couldn't figure it out. And then I will find a stamp set here in just a minute. But while I am doing that and trying out a bunch of things, I'll just tell you about the title like I was going to before. I like the way that Lego Home plays on the fact that we are a Lego home. We have Legos in our house. We've always had Legos in our house, and my husband and daughter absolutely love Legos. And also the fact that they're building Lego homes. So this is a big city that my husband and daughter built. And so it's just kind of a fun little play on words there. It's not really a play on words, but it has like a double meaning. So here I've just got some alphabet stamps from Ellie Studio and stamped them in the Ali Edwards Pendleton ink. And I've liked the pop of red because red is, it seems to me like red, yellow, blue, and green are the colors when I think of Lego, because they, I don't know, they're just the primary colors, and that's the main colors for Legos. But anyway, so I have that pop of red there, and what I decide to do with these flags is kind of just, I'll put one under the top photo, one under the middle photo, and I'm going to put one in the window of the house. And I just kind of like how things all nestled together like that. So now here's my journaling, and I'm trying to make it extend as far out as the left photo does, so that there's that kind of equal distance, because otherwise the layout looks heavy on the left and like there's not enough on the right. So I just wrote it in pencil first, and now I'm writing over it with my black Muji pen, and I'm just writing about how we've always had Legos. Philip had his from when he was a little boy, and he brought them to our house when we got married, and ever since I can remember we've had Legos, and Malia has been playing Legos with him since she was really small, and now she likes playing them with her cousins Denver and Wesley, who are in that top photo with her. And it's just kind of fun. Legos are cool. You're building something. I think it's a good little hobby. So we love Legos at our house. So now I am putting those little flags in. Sorry, my head keeps popping in there. What I'm doing is I'm putting some foam. Oh, there's my friend CJ's hand on the left. She was making some cards while I was making this. Anyway, I put some foam underneath the little like banner flag part of those stickers so that it would pop up a little bit. And I like the way that turns out. So now I'm just kind of finalizing where I want to put those hearts. I like where they're kind of sitting now, just overlapping the photos slightly, and they're in a triangle shape, which kind of draws your eye from the title to the photos, which is good. And now, I'm just gluing those wood veneer pieces down again with my Scotch quick dry adhesive. And I think at this point, all I need to add is the date. So I'm using this little tiny roller date stamp, which is adorable, that I got on Amazon. I'll link to it below. And I'm stamping in red for that other pop of red because I have the Lego at the top. And then that is going to complete this layout. I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope that you'll try something like this with your digital elements, making your own patterned paper. It's really fun to print it onto vellum. It's just a different look. And I will link to all available products in the video description below, and you can check out Allie's digital products at allieedwards.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.